Now that we got the tie rod done and the toe end set, we're going to go out, attack the drag link now because those ends are bad. The tie rods is actually a different video. You can check my playlist for that under Jeep playlist. Now I just opened up the parts just to make sure we have what we need, that the length is going to be about right before I take the existing one off. And so this is from Barnes 4-wheel drive. This is you got to make sure you get the over the knuckle or under the knuckle, okay? There's my knuckle right there, and you can see mine's over the knuckle. So that's what I'm replacing this one with. And this one is made out of steel, and I thought it was Barnes because it was kind of gray colored like theirs. So I called them and they said they don't make any out of steel. So I don't know what ends these are. They may be common ends that fit the factory one. I don't know, but I thought, well, for the price, this was like $175 for an aluminum one and good ends, and I like the Barnes stuff. So we've actually put Barnes, the axle sleeve kit in and the gussets for this front Dana 44, and it worked really well. They were like a perfect fit, and it went so smooth. And so I thought I'd try their drag link. So as far as the parts go, these are pretty beefy. I mean, that's pretty heavy duty looking stuff. And this is, I think this is the driver's side, and they are greasable. You can see they came with little grease zerks, and there's a castle nut for this side, and should be a cotter pin in there, yep. And here's the sleeve. This is the passenger side because this is over the knuckle, so that's actually going to face down, and then this actually pushes the bar forward. See how that's canted? So that actually pushes the bar forward and keeps it from hitting anything. So the one I have in there isn't like that right now. So let's just make sure this looks like about the right length. So I'm going to hold that up to that bolt there, and we'll hold that up to that bolt, and that's about the right length. All right, so this should work. Good. Now this looks like it's for tightening, so I might have to put a wrench on this end for whatever reason. I'm going to put this on this end over here just because it's a lot easier to access than up here underneath kind of the bumper. And okay, and I've turned the steering to the right some, and that helps this nut right here at the top of the drag link to get clear of the frame here. So hopefully it'll be a little easier to get that nut off. Okay, so taking the cotter pin out and loosening the nut was easier with it turned all the way further to the right. Now I've turned it all the way to the left, and I've been tapping on the outside of the pitman arm like that, trying to get it to drop, but it hasn't dropped. So here, I'm hoping I can get my hammer right here. Set this kind of piece of 3/4 inch steel right here. And that got it loose. Now again, when we put this together, I'm going to want this as close as possible. Hopefully get my steering wheel as close as possible in the middle. This will be the driver's side, the straight shaft. This is reverse thread. All right, now I don't know what the minimum turns are here, but I'm going to put it in, at least 10 turns. 1, 2, 10. I'm going to start there. I'm going to put the other side 10 turns in, and I think we're going to have to squeeze it in even further. Okay, and this will be reverse threads, of course. Since the other was clockwise, this will be counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 10. Now when we set the width here, we're going to screw these in each one turn at a time. We're going to screw in each side one turn at a time. Okay, so we have those roughly in line as far as the middle of that and the middle of that one go. So over here, we've got to screw in the new one a little ways. 1, 2. One, 2. Okay, so I'm about 22 turns in on each side, so that's good. I feel good about that. Nice, that a lot of the threads are inside there. That's pretty flush right there. And it looks like, that stud lines up with the grease zerk there. All right, we'll run these nuts down for now and just kind of make them finger tight. See where our steering wheel ends up, and then we'll tighten them down. Okay, now we're going to use the Harbor Freight grease gun to get these greased up. I'm not going to put a ton of grease in them right now. because when we go to put these on, grease is going to squirt everywhere. So we'll just kind of fill them up a little ways. Okay, now we're just going to get the gloop off. Make sure that feels nice and smooth inside, that there's no rough, rusty areas. So the drag link to knuckle goes to 63 foot-pounds. The drag link to pitman arm goes to 77 foot-pounds. Those are the specs that I'm using. Be sure to check your manual and use the correct specifications. Now let's fill this up a little bit. So we're just going to pull it in and out of the driveway here a couple times. She's just going to drive it where it feels like it's going straight without looking at the wheel. Feels like that's centered. Feels like you're driving straight in.
Yeah.
All right. I think this way.
Maybe a little bit driver.
Too far?
A little bit driver.
Did I go too far?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back the way a little bit. How's that? Well, my wife was spot on. The steering wheel's nice and straight. I just took it out for a good test drive. 3 or 4 miles of really bumpy, rough road, and then about 10 or 15 miles of interstate, and it drove 80 miles an hour like a dream. And no death wobble, no shaking the steering wheel at all when I hit the bumps. It's doing good. The track bar and the drag link are pretty well lined up. And thanks to my mechanic buddy Steve for that and making that happen. It performs really well. So again, I'll drive it for a couple days. Then I'm going to pop all of these cotter pins and then just recheck the torque. I'll loosen the nuts and then retorque them just to make sure they're seated well. And then I'll probably check the toe in again, next time I rotate the tires. I'll just put the things on. It just takes a few minutes. Put the measuring tapes on and make sure it's still in spec and that nothing's loosened up or hasn't changed. Because it's easy to do now that I have the tool. So pretty sweet. Look, I put my shock on upside down. Well, that's really great. Okay. Fortunately, nobody looks down there, I don't think. Be sure to check out my playlist, my Jeep playlist, where I've done a lot of modifications from, tons of modifications. Just check it out, including deleting that electronic thing. And I'm really happy with that because I can just manually engage it or disengage it, and it always works. Okay, well, hey, thanks for dropping by. And be sure to drop a comment and a like if this helped you. I always enjoy reading your comments. So anything you have to say about how you've done this or done it better or something that worked better for you, I'd love to hear about it. Okay, thanks for watching again. I'll see you next time.